Groundwater. Groundwater. Focus question. Why is groundwater important? When the water runs out. Picture getting up one morning, turning on the faucet, and getting nothing but a gurgle. This happened in a part of California that is famous for its fruits and vegetables. Years of drought were meant with little rain. To irrigate their crops, farmers pumped huge amounts of groundwater from under the land. The result was some 2,000 dry wells in 2014. Unfortunately, California isn't the only place where the rain crisis. Where is groundwater? What and where is groundwater? Many of us look at a globe and think the planet holds plenty of water for all our needs. Most of Earth's water is in our oceans, however, full of salt. Fresh water keeps us alive, yet very little of Earth's water is fresh. Of that small amount, most is frozen. Scientists said that 99% of Earth's usable water is in the ground. Most groundwater is stored beneath land in aquifers. These are underground layers of rock, gravel, and sand that hold underwater like huge sponges. Rain and melting snow flow very slowly into the surface soil and rock to feed the aquifers. Aquifers can reach down thousands of feet and extend for thousands of miles. They feed our rivers, lakes, and wetlands. Their fresh water also irrigates the best farming areas in the world. For more than a century, people have been pumping billions of gallons of water from underground to drink, grow crops, and meet our other needs. Even during a drought, communities and farms above aquifers can draw groundwater. It keeps many of us from going hungry and thirsty. The trouble is that groundwater levels are falling fast. People near and far most conserve this life-giving resource. Too many straws. They are pumping groundwater faster than nature can replace it, experts say. Since 1995, water levels have dropped in almost two-thirds of the wells across the United States. Competition for groundwater is causing conflict in some farming areas. In Northern California, for example, winemakers grow fields of grapes, which need large amounts of water. Many of these winemakers have drilled deep wells to make sure they can get the groundwater they need. Without it, they might go out of business. Many smaller farmers and homeowners nearby, though, blame winemakers for sucking up too much of the groundwater they all share. In many cases, these smaller property owners cannot afford to drill deeper wells for themselves. As a result, their shallower wells go dry. It's as if everyone has their straws in the same drink, but some farms and businesses can pay for more and longer straws. This problem raises big questions. Who owns groundwater? What is fair? Water fights. Halfway around the world, Pakistan's water supply has dropped by almost 75% in the last 60 years. Many in Pakistan blame India, their neighbor to the south. They accuse India of building dams that block river water that would normally flow to them. They say this has forced farmers in Pakistan to pump more groundwater. India says Pakistan has only itself to blame. It says Pakistan has managed its water poorly. Today, both countries that have fought for wars against each other in the past face water shortages and growing competition for fresh water. Experts predict such battles over water will grow worse. If nothing changes, they estimate the world will fall 40% short of its water needs by the year 2030. Nearly 2 billion people worldwide could face several water shortages, leading to food shortages and famine. In time, shortages like these can even lead to war, experts warn. In some places, lack of water has already done just that. In Syria, for example, drought may have helped start a civil war in 2011. As a result, many Syrians have died. In many places, groundwater is that important. The difference between green farms or dusty fields, life or death. staying out of trouble. There is an old saying, it is easier to stay out of trouble than get out of trouble. This is true about groundwater. Fixing these creases now will be much easier than waiting until aquifers run dry. We have to plan ahead, however. One growing threat to other groundwater supplies is climate change. Almost all scientists who study the Earth now agree that it's getting hotter. Climate change may also mean less rain for some areas, and fresh water may be harder to come by. Another huge challenge is Earth's growing population. More than 7 billion people live on our planet now. The figure is expected to reach 11 billion by the year 2100. All of us will need water to drink and grow our food. We must manage our groundwater now, and we can. Farming smarter. Our best hope is finding ways to use less water and keep more groundwater in the ground. Experts estimate that about 65% of the fresh groundwater Americans pump to the surface is used to irrigate crops. Yet many forms of irrigation waste water. They spray the sprinkle water on the surface, where much of it is lost to evaporation. More farmers are using new ways to make sure every drop counts. New meters monitor moisture in the soil and turn the irrigation on and off to water less water. Many fruit and nut orchards now bury irrigation pipes to waste less water too. Planting different crops can also help conserve groundwater. In states such as Kansas and Iowa, some farms were switching from corn to other crops since corn requires a lot of water. Farmers need new ways to farm. If they do not choose to conserve water, empty aquifers will force them to. Future focus. Records drought forced California to conserve water. In just 6 months, people there went from using as much as 140 gallons, 530 liters per person, to just 67 gallons, 254 liters a day, on average. Across the United States, small changes in water use can save hundreds of gallons in the average American home each week. By installing low flush toilets and taking shorter showers, we can use less groundwater. Another small effect that can save gallons is running only full loads in washing machines and dishwashers. Some people are also saving water by replacing thirsty grass in their yards with plants that need less water. Saving our groundwater isn't easy. People need to drink. Farmers need to irrigate crops to grow our food. Still, we can be smarter about how we use this resource, both now and far into the future.